Hello, my name is Omar Rampersad. It is August 26th, Sunday 2018. And I'm going to sneeze as usual, either cough or sneeze when I start talking. It's 9:30 p.m. in Toronto. So I just went to Shoppers Drug Mart, and in there I was mobbed by some Chinese people, kids, adults, and I say mob because they are talking about Gil Furtado case and being a sex slave. You're going to be a sex slave no matter what. I tweeted some of it out. And they call my manager's name at the company I'm with right now. And I have to do as he says. And the Chinese won. And we traded it, and the price is down to $3. Very cheap. So, as I mentioned in my other videos, the Chinese are trafficking. The Chinese traffickers are working with the residents in the building and the people in the community to traffic, basically. So what they're doing is they're flagging people based on lies, and working with the cops, telling the cops lies, and giving the cops who they're paying off. I suspect some of the dirty cops are being paid off because they get to gerbil the people on the list, because they actually surveil them as well. They log into them as well. So they get to gerbil, they get to rape, remotely rape, gang rape, as was said to me by one of the officers when I reported gang stalking. He said, "Do you mean gang banging?" Now I understand what he meant. So there's a lineup of men who remotely rape. So what is happening is, because my name is on a list, there are teams of people who are vying for the contract. So, and the contract is being traded up and traded down. So the Chinese won, meaning that they bought the contract and they got it at a really rich, cheap price, because I was degraded by the previous monitor, who is Rick, in my workplace. And my sister-in-law co-signed the contract with him. So it's a whole business that's being created based on this flagging system. And the flagging is the basis of all this trading. So the Chinese won, which meant that the Chinese kids and adults are mobbing me for a couple of reasons. So to terrorize me, number one, to update me, number two, about what's going on, and to see what I buy and what I'm doing, to report back to their team, the manager of the team, so they can talk about it, discuss it, or put disciplining actions into place with lasers, microwaves, and tasers, and they can manage every move I make and my life, basically, which my sister-in-law and her son is very intimately involved in, because they are co-signing the contract. It has to be a member of the family, I heard, or it helps if there is a member of the family. So my sister-in-law is constantly co-signing, and maybe other members of my family is doing this as well. So as I said in one of my tweets, I heard that my sister-in-law had me mentally committed, had me mentally, had me declared mentally incapacitated fraudulently. And this is part of the file that's floating around with me anywhere I go, and it's in my workplace because I'm being harassed about it in the workplace. And every monitor are building on this and are harassing. So what's going on in the workplace is there's a huge harassment campaign in the workplace that, of course, is distracting me. And then they're recording everything I do and say and degrading based on that recording, which, of course, is all fraudulently done, because it doesn't reflect my true ability. I'm being harassed in the background, criminally, viciously, sexually harassed, verbally, and I'd say physically harassed too, because people are rubbing my back with their hands. They're touching, invading my personal space, touching me when I don't want to be touched. This is physical harassment as well. This is going on. Mind you, they are reporting that I'm doing this to them. Keep in mind, I'm the target. I'm the one who is being targeted. So, so there is it seems a weekly meeting. So the contract just changed hands, and the Chinese have it. And the worker in the building is contracting or subcontracting. So he's operating the system that is using lasers, tasers, and so on to track me, number one, because my ankle is pulsing, which means my ankle is tagged, which is false imprisonment. and I'm being illegally monitored by the Chinese, as usual. This has been going on for years. So this is openly being carried out. This is open trafficking, open corruption, open collusion, open conspiracy to traffic, and being carried out in companies as well. So I had Stan at Biddington Group conveyed my property based on this fraudulent file that he had about me without disclosing. He never disclosed to me he had a file about me. I was solicited in his place. I was illegally stalked. I was spied upon. Exactly what the Chinese residents are doing in the building was done in every company since I started working at Triavest on a 6-month contract. Every time I moved, the same thing happened. The same thing happened over and over and over again. And my sister-in-law and my brother who now is now deceased. He passed away in May. They were they were both involved in this process because I believe my brother is the one who had me, and my sister-in-law were the ones who had me mentally declared without telling me. In other words, they intentionally did it without telling me. And then they're saying they told me, but just part of targeting me, because they are targeting me. They were targeting me then, and they're still targeting me now by saying that they told me what's going on. Of course, there's no way that they'd tell me that, oh, Oma, we contracted with Rick, who's a black man from the Caribbean at work, and he's going to subcontract with all kinds of Muslim people, strangers, and gangs to follow you around. We told you this. Does that seem plausible? Of course not. They never told me. My sister-in-law is lying, out and out lying. And so is Gil Furtado. When he calls the cops about me, he's out and out lying. So are the neighbors. Out and out lies. The agenda in the targeting program is to destroy, dispose of. And this is all part of it, all based on lies. None of it fits in my personality profile. None of it. The initial flag, which was done, I suspect, by Gore, the building superintendent, were based on lies. On race, I strongly suspect it was a racist move as well. And he did this because he got the right to look at me inside my home. Because once you install the target is satellite tracked and tagged, and it's been seen share naked, voyeurism. And and this surveillance is subcontracted and then subcontracted to the point where it reaches the gangs, and the gangs are stalking you and mobbing you all over. And of course, when you tell the police are saying you're paranoid because they have to cover it. It's a cover. So in Rohini Besasar's case, I strongly suspect that she was harassed this way for years and years and years and years, 10 years plus. And they put her out on the street. They locked her out of the workplace, put her out on the street, destroyed her relationship with her family, with her boyfriend, put her out on the street, and then had men visit her, come around her, and buy food. Why? Strangers don't do that for nothing. She wasn't a physical prostitute, but I strongly suspect, like myself, she was being remotely trafficked, remotely gerbiled. And I strongly suspect that the person she killed, unfortunately, it was most likely a stalker, a gang stalker, who was probably accessing her remotely and was probably gerbling her as well and her family. Talk to you another time.